Hi, I'm Sara Ferrero. I'm guitar tech for Sigur Rós, and I'm looking after Georg and Jónsi on this run in 2024. I started with them in September. We started from the US, and then we're here in Northern Europe on the second day in Copenhagen. Today we're talking about Jónsi's setup. I'm gonna show you his effect, his guitar, and of course we're talking about the new TC Electronic Plethora X1 that is in his rig at the moment. So we're currently touring with an orchestra, and their setup is a bit different comparing to the rock show they did last year. So in this occasion, for hearing the sound, because everybody's wearing in-ears, I'm using an amp, which is pretty similar to his sound in his ears. But we're not using an amp on stage due to noise, of course. So on this tour, he's using just this guitar, which is his main guitar, the bird guitar. And he doesn't have any spare. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you read about his guitar before. This is a custom guitar. This guitar has been built by his previous guitar tech at the back of a truck when they were touring. It's quite a cool story. And it's got specific radius on his neck because he's playing with a bow, with a cello bow. It's a pretty cool guitar. It's very particular sound. Also the bridge is custom, and yeah, and I think he's has got Seymour Duncan 59 pickup, one only. So this is the rack we're using on stage left, and I'm right behind it. I have to say that I inherited this gear. It wasn't my build. I didn't build anything. You can see here we're using the Jims 800 because we're not using the Marshall amp, and this pedal was the closest to his sound. He brought it the first day of rehearsals and we tried it and he liked the sound, so we're keeping it. We're still adjusting the sound a little bit. And then we got the Plethora X1. I tried to download Jónsi's preset, but the mix wet dry wasn't there, so I passed into the pedal a church preset, and then it became cathedral effect. So we're still playing around it, but he likes to, his sound is like ethereal and atmospheric, so there's a lot of reverb involved and not much dry signal. And if you come on this side, the signal goes from his pedalboard into the mixer EQ, and this is only used for the bass in a hobby potla. I press this and I bypass the reverb, so the signal will go just through the mixer and the Jims 800, and then usually this is the setup. I still kept the TC M350 in the rack as a backup, because he has been using these units for a long time. So also to compare the sound, when we were making the sound for the Plethora X1, we were comparing and A/B switching between the two sounds to get the perfect match. So he's usually playing the bow very close to the bridge. Because he also plays with his fingers and clearly doesn't want the rosin to be over here close to the neck. So when I sound check and I try the guitar, I always have to make sure that after I apply the rosin doesn't go over the pickup and stays in this area. And he usually plays between the pickup and the bridge, and you can see also the rosin here. And this is what makes the sound of this guitar very good. And yeah, so we recently purchased a Lel volume pedal. We used to use the Ernie Ball, but somehow we changed. And this pedal is very good because the Lel pedal comes with that color, with that layout, and he doesn't necessarily like any color other than black in his pedalboard, which I find very interesting. He's got a very cool look. It's very metal. So yeah, I spray painted it to make it look black. Sorry, Lel. And then The only thing he's using on this specific show is distortion, which is a light distortion. It sounds more like it's a crunch. And he uses this distortion pedal only on the song One. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Otherwise, he's always playing without pressing any buttons, and he just pressed the volume pedal. There's also a song where he plays the ebow, and it sounds even better. And it creates a lot of atmosphere, and having the orchestra really enhance their sound. So yeah, he also got a tuner not in the chain, but it's just for him to check the tuning if he feels like he's going out of tune. I'm very surprised this guitar doesn't go out of tune that much, because I never changed the strings since I started. This is something that he prefers to keep as it is, because it takes a long time for the rosin to set on the strings, and I am only changing the strings if you break one or two strings. So in his pedalboard we got a few other pedals that on this show is not using, but I didn't want to take them out of this pedalboard because you never know if they're gonna go back to do a rock show. And he's using only the EBS bass drive pedal, but it is never active. So the signal goes through it, but it's never active. Another thing I can say is I put two bows here because one of the previous techs told me that in the rock show he used to break a lot of bows. So we purchased more bows, as we're using round wound, not flat wound, so it can break quite easily. But on this show it's very gentle, so I never replace the bow. But just in case, I keep two bows here, so in an emergency you can grab the other one. He only plays bass in one song, and he uses one of his picks to play that song. And I will show you what I do. I just bypass the reverb to have a cleaner sound for the bass. And he only plays the bass in Opipodla. So this is the bass that he's using for Opipodla. It's a very, very old Dan Electro bass, which has been refret at the beginning of the tour. And the sound is quite particular. Also, we bought a guitar strap, and this has been personalized by our production assistant, Eva Martin. She's very good at this. And when he saw that, he loved it. I got my stuff on another tour, so I'm currently touring with my old toolbox and these tuners in line. I'm keeping always picks, because you never know if they drop picks. I'm going to be ready to give them the guitar picks. And I'm keeping the rosin here, which is violin light rosin, which is softer. And I also have a spare bow on my table, just in case he asks for another bow, which will never happen. I really enjoy touring with them. They're very, very nice people, very pleasant to work with. They know their gear very well. And they know what's happening on stage at all times, which it helps. It's very much a teamwork with them, and they're extremely polite, so I'm very much enjoying touring with them. My approach as a guitar tech with musicians is always like, I'm testing the waters to check the type of person I'm working with, and the personality. And because I'm an anxious person myself, I always make sure that I understand if somebody is having the same feelings as I am, and treat them with even more kindness to make their show more pleasant, other than being technically there with my mind. And I noticed that a calm approach is always a winner, because when a musician looks at you, wants to see you in control of the situation, obviously. So I'm always approaching with a very gentle attitude. Well, I hope so. At least that's what I think I'm doing anyway. Maybe I come across totally in a different way, but I just always make sure that the musician is comfortable, and any problems has been sorted. Even the most details are taken in consideration. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this rig rundown.